Hi, it's me, Ingrid INFP, and I've been thinking a lot about how we relate to our childhood selves. I've already made a video about this, but I watched the Miyazaki film only yesterday with my INFJ friend, and it really touched something deep inside of me. If you don't know Studio Ghibli, I highly go and you check out all of their movies. Most of them are made by Hayao Miyazaki. And I went to a concert that had the soundtrack, but on musical instruments with like a string quartet in a dark room with fake candles, which was pretty cool. And so I watched that with my INFJ friend, and then we went to his house, and then we watched Only Yesterday. And the plot of Only Yesterday isn't a big thing. Most of the plots of these films is not very action-oriented. It's mostly about the feeling that these films give us, a lot about the mystical world and human relationships and stuff. You might have heard of Spirited Away, Totoro, Princess Mononoke. Well, so Only Yesterday is one of the least known, and it's an adult movie. It's basically a 27-year-old girl, and she goes to the countryside, and she goes back through, like, her 10-year-old self kind of visits like, she gets all these memories of her 10-year-old self because she's on this journey, she's on traveling, and she's kind of realizing who she is, or how she became the way that she was, going through her traumas, going through everything that her life was about. And you start realizing, like, wow, she was really trapped as a child. It seemed like an okay childhood, but then you start realizing that that's why she has all the troubles that she has as an adult to fully love and accept herself. And then you see in the end that she feels free and that she finally can do what she likes. And it's a pretty beautiful movie. Not my favorite Studio Ghibli, but that's saying a lot because Studio Ghibli really makes wonderful movies, so obviously. But thing is, at the end, there's kind of this scene where the older self and the younger self are in the same, are on the same plane. They look at each other, and they recognize each other, and they're proud of each other. And I realized that there was a big part of my life where I felt that my childhood self would not be proud of the person that I am today. And especially so because my childhood self did not know who I would become, and she doesn't know the struggles of an adult and that kind of thing. But then I realized that even if she didn't know these things, she would be proud of me. I think that she would be proud of herself, and I could be like a sister to this childhood self. Be the person that your childhood self would want you to be. And so I've collected a few quotes that kind of remind me of this concept. I was also reading Mémoire de fille by Annie Ernaux, the Nobel Prize writer, and it's interesting how she looks at a picture of herself, and she calls it her, like, the girl of 58, 1958, basically. She like, is separated from herself in the past, is like the girl of 58, you know? It's not her, it's something else. So I'm going to go through these Tumblr quotes. Well, they're quotes, but I found them on Tumblr. I have a tag on my Tumblr, which I've been keeping since like 10 years back. The tag is growing up. And so here is one of them. It's basically age 20 to 25 is like, I am a baby, I am a grown woman. I am but a small girl. I am the oldest and wisest woman alive. I just began to exist. I am but an embryo. Like, all of this at the same time. And then there's one that's actually, growing up is feeling like I turned 16 2 years ago. I've been 18 for years. 15 years old doesn't seem young. Or it seems so young. Wasn't I 15 just a few weeks ago? All my friends and I are still 12. I'm closer to 30 than to being a baby. I've never got to be a kid. I never grew past 8. So that is the similar kind of vibe. Then it's like, your late 20s is like one of your friends is getting promoted, one of your friends is binge watching an early 2000s TV show, one of your friends is moving away, one of your friends is moving home, one just graduated, one just dropped out, one spends all day in bed, at least 3 of them are getting into crystals and alternative medicine, one of them is changing careers, one of them still doesn't know what they want to do with their life and talks about starting a podcast, one of them is on sabbatical, and everyone's tummy hurts, but they're being so brave about it. Yeah. Listening to the same music I used to listen to when I was 14, 15 is something else. I'm still her. I'm nothing like her anymore. She knew everything. She knew nothing. She was so right. She was so wrong. Let's see. I wanted the past to go away. I wanted to leave it like another country. I wanted my life to close and open like a hinge, like a wing, like the part of a song where it falls down over the rocks, an explosion, a discovery. I wanted to hurry into the work of my life. I wanted to know whoever I was. And here's memory blurs. That's the point. If memory didn't blur, you wouldn't have the fool's courage to do things again, that tear you apart. That is Joyce Carol Oates. If you knew what was going to happen, if you knew everything that was going to happen next, if you knew in advance the consequences of your own actions, you'd be doomed. You'd be ruined as God. You'd be a stone. You'd never eat or drink or laugh or get out of bed in the morning. You'd never love anybody, ever again. You'd never dare to. That's Margaret Atwood's The Blind Assassin. Then here's another Tumblr post. Little me from 10 years ago would think I am so fucking cool, and that's literally all that matters. That's kind of fun. And here is, I'm running into a new year and the old years blow back like a wind that catch my hair. Blah, 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 blah. It would be hard to let go of what I said to myself about myself when I was 16 and 26 and 36 and even 36, but I'm running into a new year and I beg what I love and I leave to forgive me. That's I'm Running into a New Year by Lucille Clifton. Here's another quote. To think of childhood gave her a funny queasy feeling because it had been real life once. It was now something else. Sally Rooney, Beautiful World, Where Are You? And so I am continuously looking back to the person I was before and how I felt and what I believed, and the further back I go, and the less and less I just relate to them. Like, it's hard to equate 5-year-old me with who I am today. Like, it just feels like we're separate people. Obviously, it's just growth, but I can't wrap around the fact that I existed in any form other than the forum I'm currently in. That's deep. It's a Tumblr post, but sometimes it can get deep. And this is here. You never feel as young as you are because you're always the oldest you've ever been. You can only look back and equate childhood with ignorance and silliness because there were things you didn't know then. But there are things you don't know now too, that someone older is looking down at you for. A 7-year-old doesn't feel like a helpless infant. They feel the oldest and most mature they've ever felt. And then they will turn 8 too, and 9, 20, 30, 50. I promised myself I would never forget that, growing up. I put it in a time capsule when I was 9 because I wanted to be certain. Sometimes it slips away and I catch myself scoffing at people younger than me. But you have to fight that. You have to hold on. You have to keep a little bit of your younger mind inside of you so you don't forget. I think that's important. Remember that you'll always change, but know that the person you'll become isn't going to be any more real than the person you are or the person you were. They're still going to feel like you. And then there's another one. I haven't met all of me yet. That's it. That's the post. And that's so nice to think. Be the person you needed when you were younger. That's what I said. The trees you planted in childhood have grown too heavy. You cannot bring them along. Bring yourselves to the air, to what you cannot hold. Rainer Maria Rilke, from Sonnets to Orpheus. So that one. When I was 7, I wanted to be 8. When I was 8, I wanted to be 12. When I turned 12, I wanted to be 18. Then after that, I stopped wanting to be older. I feel like I spent my whole life so far wishing it all away. Always wishing I was older, wishing I was somewhere else, wishing I could remember, and wishing I could forget too, because I hadn't ruined so many good things because I was scared or bored. That's Adele. No one warned me that coming into your own also includes grieving the life you were conditioned to believe you wanted. Oh, this is a personal attack. Is it... let's see, what's next one? Becomes everything I dreamed of when I was little and almost didn't notice. Yeah. True. Actually, let's see what's next. Perhaps the one thing I'll always like about growing up and maturing is the never-ending opportunity to develop and refine your personal taste in pretty much anything. Fashion, food, music, literature, art, design, furniture. The older you get, the more knowledge, insight, and experience you acquire, and it all adds up to a treasure of source material to create a new you from. Carve, prune, distill, expand, sculpt, evolve. You can recreate yourself always, and aging gracefully is about endlessly enriching yourself through that recreation. That's from Kalelon on Tumblr. You are not the soil from which you sprang, nor the rain that fed your roots. You are not the feet that pushed you down, nor the sun that drew you up. You are not your seed. You are something new, shining in each branch and unfurling leaf. And you are still growing. Grow tall, grow free. That's Dark Earth Suggestions on Tumblr. There's some good poetry on Tumblr. Growing up is an endless process of me looking back at younger versions of myself and being like, wow, she was so young. But look how well she did with what she knew. How lovely to think there's a future me out here, thinking this exact same thing about present me. So I really like that image of like my older self is holding my hand and I'm holding the hand of my younger self and we're guiding each other through the forest. That's kind of like the way I think of it. I really like that. I was never alone, and I can be proud of my younger self, and my younger self can be proud of me now. That's really empowering to me. I don't know how much I've grown as a person over the years. However, I have gradually turned into an increasingly cartoonish parodies of myself, which has been a blast, actually. Yeah, amygdala on Tumblr. I love those moments when I realize I'm handling a situation better than an older version of myself would have been able to. I love conversations with myself when I realize that the self-work has been working. I love realizing that I've grown. And that's Michelle Clark on Twitter. Okay, but an echo of a person is not a person at all. And the memory of a memory is a light at the end of a never-ending tunnel. We can never go back to who we once were. That's Katie Maria, The Memory of a Memory. And then, let's see. I love it when you start doing little things different and notice how much you've grown as a person, just like that. Like you from a year ago would not have handled the situation the way you are now. You've changed for the better, and that's so satisfying. I like that. Just like the butterfly, I too will awaken in my own time. I like that. I really love the butterfly metaphor of like having to go into the chrysalid and the pupa and everything in order to blossom, in order to unfurl your wings and fly. She smiled out at the sunlight slanting along the street and thought, I am going. I've finally taken a step. And that's kind of like empowering of like how to keep going even if you're scared that you are advancing, gives you hope. I wonder if anyone really identifies as the adult they've morphed into. I remember being 16 and feeling 11. I remember thinking, how could I be a teenager? I remember finishing high school and thinking, am I grown now? Is this what it feels like? I feel the same as I did before. And this is by Emily Austin. Everyone in this room will someday be dead. Then I have well, we used to play outside when we were young and full of life and full of love. Those are lyrics. Lord, I think. Sometimes we are childish. Sometimes we do something our 16-year-old self would have done. Think something our 11-year-old self would have thought. Cry like our 7-year-old self would have cried. Why is this so embarrassing? Why does it make us feel such shame? When you're 20, 30, 40, are you not also every age you've been before? Do all of your previous incarnations not still live inside of you? And then there's a quote by Sandra Cisneros called 11. What they don't understand about birthdays is that they never tell you, and what they never tell you when you're 11, you're also 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. And when you wake up on your 11th birthday, you expect to feel 11, but you don't. You open your eyes and everything's just like yesterday, only as today. And you don't feel 11 at all. You feel like you're still 10. And you are, underneath the year that makes you 11. I find that to be the biggest quote of all. There's also a picture that I'll put in a link or something. I am large, I contain multitudes. It all seems very mundane, but one day you'll miss it when you see the photos. And that's it's a comic from Shit's Flying on Tumblr. Most of our childhood is stored not in photos, but in certain biscuits, lights of day, smells, textures of the carpet. And then there are things I thought I left long ago that actually follow close behind. What made you strange at 17 will make you sad at 33. Trampoline by You Won't. Let's see. Well, there's this picture of like, there's a child that has an adult inside it, and then it transforms into an adult that has a child inside it. I find that pretty compelling. Because all the music you loved at 16, you'll grow out of, and all the times they will change, it'll all come around. That is Lord. And here it's a comic by Insan Avery. I really love Insan Avery. It's like a crow and it's a raven. It's a radish raven. Anyway, as you grow, you feel like you're just you. And the world is always changing around you. But you're also changing. You just can't tell because you've been yourself the whole time. And then it says, I'm a continuum of me. And this is something that I think my INFJ friend kind of summed up, that every moment is a drop of water in an ocean, and the present. There are tons of little presents that are just a big ocean. And there is no separation. Everything is the present. You know, the past, the future, it is all in the present. So yeah, I really like that. All time ever does is past, and all I ever do is remember. I do not know if I will ever forget. I do not know if I want to. I am every age I have ever been. All time ever does is pass, and all I ever do is remember. There are days I do not recognize myself in old pictures. There are times I feel that my life stopped at 18. And that's Isao. So that was... Then there's a Tumblr post by Swarmpert. I'm 17, I'm 18, I'm 19, I'm 20, I'm 21, I'm 22, I'm 23, I'm 24, I'm 25, I'm 26. Okay. Oh, so you're telling me you don't hoard every sentimental thing you receive because of you have a healthy relationship with the passage of time? That's Princess Bozo on Twitter. Being in your 20s is like, I'm 17, I don't know who I am. I'm 55, curled up with a book. I'm ancient, I've been here forever. I never left. I'm 5 years old and I'm lost at the supermarket. Relatable. So I think I've gone through all of these. It's a lot. If you want to see the entire thing, just check out my blog on Tumblr. But I think that you need to be a Tumblr member in order to be able to see these posts. So I'll see what I can do about that. But it's just interesting, like, how time is, how we relate to, like, Aniano was with the picture of herself, and she's like, who is this girl? This girl is the girl of 1958. Am I that girl? Have I ever been that girl? Well, it was reality at a certain point, but it's not reality anymore. Am I me? Would that me recognize me now? Do I recognize that person from the past? I've grown. I have more experiences now, more wisdom, but I did have a wisdom that I don't want to lose from my childhood, that I've had to develop through the years. So I think that it's pretty interesting how this can be, you know. So I think it's interesting because we were watching only yesterday, and I just realized, like, oh, I'm finally proud. I finally am certain that my 10-year-old self would be proud of the person that I am now. And even though she doesn't understand, she wouldn't understand me and my struggles in the present, I think that she would still think that I am a good person that she would want to become. And I think that I would be able to give her guidance. I wouldn't give her any advice because she wouldn't be able to comprehend it, but I can help her grow, help her go into the right direction, or help her find the resources to be able to handle life on her own. And I've managed everything up until now. You know, even the things I failed at, all the mistakes, they have helped me build myself. And it's just a really hopeful thought. I think INFJs are really have this strength in the NI. It's difficult for them dealing with time, but and they're really fascinated by it. But I think that as INFPs, we can get to that point too. It's just we arrive there in a completely different way. Because we have the SI problematic thing with the past. So I was just really fascinated with the concept of that movie, where she's looking at the past self, and I'm thinking, I was also thinking of the movie Arrival, where it's about aliens, and the aliens they arrive on the Earth, and their way of communication supposes that time is circular, and the film's time is circular. So I find that, and we were talking with my INFJ friend about how time is so circular that it ends up just being a point. But that point is, that drop is also an ocean. Every drop is continuous, it's ever flowing, it's not one moment like stuck, immortalized in time like a picture. We have the snapshots, but our life is not, has the snapshots, but it's comprised of multiple presents, and we can lead ourselves. We are capable. We can lead ourselves into the future serenely and present and in charge of our own destinies, of what we are. We shouldn't like waste our time on feeling ashamed of what things have happened in the past, or wondering where it all went wrong, or regretting certain things, or feeling like a victim because of things that have happened, or mourning the loss of the childhood that we never had, or that kind of thing. Of course, we need the time to mourn, to heal from the past, and we shouldn't just cut off our past from us, because it is part of us. But it's an integrated part of us that has led to the person that we are today. And the childhood us had to live in order for us to be who we are today. And regardless of the circumstances, we have survived up to this point, and we will continue to survive and thrive as long as we keep believing in ourselves. So it just makes me really happy to think about this topic. I wonder how you guys think about time and childhood and memories and the present, our sense of identity and all of that. This is a pretty complicated topic, and I hope I did the quotes justice. Yeah, have a great day, everybody.